Star Trek Beyond. Went and saw it yesterday. It's the first film of the new Universe franchise without J.J. Abrams behind the camera. Which as an Abrams fanatic kind of worried me, but after seeing the torch pass so gracefully from Cloverfield to 10 Cloverfield Lane, I really wasn't super worried. I thought we were going to get something of at least similar quality. Justin Lin from the Fast and the Furious franchise took over for this one, and I really didn't know what to expect. I've never seen any of his movies. So I didn't know if he was going to be style over substance, or if he was actually going to be capable of pulling this one out. But he crushed it so hard on this that I think I've got like 20 Fast and the Furious movies to watch now. So Star Trek Beyond is the third film in Abrams' new Universe franchise, or as the internet calls it, the Kelvin timeline. And usually by the time you get to the third film in any franchise, Steam is at an all-time low and recycling is at an all-time high. But that's totally not the case with Beyond. Simon Pegg, who's responsible for the Cornetto trilogy of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End, penned the script for this one. And he absolutely nailed the tone and set a well-paced, rapid-fire series of events that this film needed. The concept is basic and simple. Take the crew away from the ship and see if they can hold up on their own. But in doing that, they tell a story that is fresh enough to show another side of the Enterprise crew. That's really smart, because the lazy money would have been to take the Enterprise, bash into an alien ship for 2 hours, while Spock and Kirk bicker in the background. In the last two films, the cast of characters utilized all the Federation's weapons and tools to get their conclusions. In Beyond, though, it's just feet on the ground, grit, and luck-aided ingenuity. It's less about the ship, the shields, the phasers, and the proton torpedoes, and more about the fight of these characters. That's a really smart pull. They stopped doubling down on what's already been done and actually tried something fresh. Had they not done this, the formula would have started to tire. And interest in the Spock-Kirk dynamic would certainly have started to wane. I love watching those two characters, but they needed to change it up before it got too stale. Before it got too comfortable. The cast is well oiled and synced up by this point in the franchise. Pine, Quinto, Urban, Cho, Saldana, Pegg, and Yelchin. Rest in peace, Alpha Dog. Talk about a cast. This is one of those ensembles that we'll look back on in 20 years and still be super impressed. With the cast separated into subgroups, you get to see matchups and interactions that are totally unique to this film. And while the characters have been in the same room for the last two movies, they never got to relate like they do here. And newcomers Idris Elba and Sofia Boutella did a fine job as Krall and Jayla. While Krall wasn't as engaging as Benedict Cumberbatch's Khan, that's a tongue twister, he did play the job of the foil convincingly enough. Ignore all of the chatter you hear about Krall being fifth business. If you're unfamiliar with the term, it means somebody who's just there to grease the wheels for the other characters. Just moving the plot along. And is inconsequential in their own means. I think some of the fans are going a bit overboard when it comes to this villain. I mean, it's damn near impossible to follow up Benedict Cumberbatch in anything. I mean, there's nothing really Idris Elba could have done that would have freaking, taken the load off his shoulders. He was gonna get harpooned no matter what. I'll give you that his motivations seem a bit cloudy or undefined. I'll give you that. But there is a character there, and he does tell a story. It's just motivationless. I just don't know why he was doing what he was doing. I don't know if something was edited out or just never filmed, but much like last year's box office bomb Fantastic Four, you're never really 100% sure why the big bad is doing what he's doing. At least I wasn't. I might have missed something. I don't think that I did, but it's also not impossible. You just get this half-assed broad concept about survival of the fittest and humanity needing saving from itself. Okay, Dr. Doom. Okay, Apocalypse. Okay, Ultron. Damn, that's a really common Marvel theme. Then you have the special effects. And damn it if Mr. Producer didn't let the quality slip if even for an instant. As just with the rest of the franchise, set the bar high, live up to it. Practical effects and CGI are meshed perfectly in this universe. General effects. I consider Star Trek on the same level as Star Wars Episode 7. I consider this Star Trek franchise on the same level as Star Wars Episode 7 when it comes to aesthetics and quality of effects. And I consider them both the interstellar equivalent of Peter Jackson's fantasy-spun filmography in the Tolkien universe. Love how 95% of the alien presence is either prosthetics or practical makeup, while the big-scale visuals are convincingly built on a green screen. It harkens back to the day where if you wanted to show something on screen, you had to figure out how to build it first. It gave everything character and purpose. Cheap effects just didn't fly, and if they did make their way into the final cut of the film, it at least looked like it had weight and felt real with proper lighting. I'm normally inclined to want practical first, and save CGI for big open shots, or fast movements where you just can't build something that would look definite. Take Jurassic Park. Spielberg did it perfect. All dinosaurs were built first, and any big open shots of them running or kinetic fighting were laid out in CGI. Abrams, even in the role of producer, is the closest thing to a true Spielberg successor we may ever see. That's not to say other directors like Del Toro, Nolan, or Jackson, who like to build first and compute second, aren't also doing a great job. It's just that Abrams also happens to build a story the way that Spielberg builds his stories. And Star Trek Beyond, while neither being written nor directed by him, has his handprints all over it. The pacing is really what made this film my favorite in the franchise. Peg's script is engaging and building. Every scene builds off the last. It doesn't peak too early and it doesn't dip in the middle. It just keeps inching towards a crescendo and a stunning finale. And is both heartfelt and well earned over the course of the film's 2-hour runtime. And that finale, oh man, what a pulse-pounding 20 minutes. I spent as much time smiling as I did jaw-dropped. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Listen, I understand that Guardians of the Galaxy may have introduced us to the whole concept of a throwback jam in outer space, but this movie perfects that with their use of Beastie Boys sabotage. Holy shit, that scene was awesome. And that nod to Anton, with the unmanned whiskey glass and that toast, hits you right in the feelings. Okay, and spoilers. The first Star Trek may have built this universe, and Into the Darkness may have given us the ultimate villain performance. At least for casual fans, I understand that the Trekkies are pissed off at that one. But Beyond feels like the universe is finally solidified and flying at full speed. Warp speed. If they never make another Star Trek movie, this is the perfect way for them to bow out and end on a high point. Did it break into my top 10? Hell yeah, it did. It's currently in my number 5 slot. It's not as awe-inspiring as Kubo and the Two Strings with its masterwork of filmmaking and art, but it's a bigger story and cast performance than The Nice Guys, which played to a much smaller measure. Did the trailer give too much away? To some degree yes and some degree no. They play out the basic premise of the movie with the Enterprise being destroyed, but that's hard to say if that really spoils anything or not. It's all just kind of boiling down to let you know it's going to be a shipwreck movie. I mean, I don't watch trailers, so when that happened it was surprising as hell to me. They could have cut the trailer without that in there, and really left a surprise for the audience, but what the hell do I know? Bottom line is Star Trek Beyond is by far the best summer blockbuster since Captain America Civil War in terms of quality. Go see it. Go see it. Go see it. Go see it.